Hello Reds, it's another one of these On This Day features with me, Gareth Roberts, Paul Senior with me. We're just in a coffee shop in Germany right now when we're recording this. So we thought it'd be nice to talk about a lovely time we had against the German team, Borussia Dortmund, because it is 3 years today since Liverpool produced one of the best comebacks in Anfield history, I think it's fair to say, against Dortmund at Anfield in the Europa League, second leg of the quarter-finals. I mean, what do you remember about that day, Paul? What I remember is that, you know, it was an electric atmosphere. You know, it's not that phrase can get used a lot. We can get all romantic about it, but that day, you know, the joint "You'll Never Walk Alone" and stuff like that, which really annoyed Blues, which was fantastic. But you know, it felt like a big game. It was a big game, and then they started and they were brilliant, and it was a bit like, oh.
Yeah, I remember us, you know, when we look where we are now, really fearing Dortmund, you know, whereas I think you would say that we're a much higher standard in European football now, and that's in the 3 years since. And even looking through the Dortmund lineup, you can sort of see that they've been pulled apart a little bit in the team. You know, there's Mkhitaryan's in there, Aubameyang's in there, Ilkay Gundogan's in there. And then you look at the Liverpool team, and there's only, you know, don't get me wrong, there's Lovren and Milner are in the team on the night, but Coutinho's in it, Origi's in it, and then you're talking Moreno, Mignolet, Mamadou Sakho, Emre Can, all in the team, and there's only really Firmino who starts for us now. Well, you would say it's the first name on the team.
And like Ojo and Allen and people like that on the bench as well.
Danny Ward's the sub-goalkeeper. It shows you just how far we've come.
Yeah,
and I think
absolutely.
that, just looking back on it, obviously I look back on the game with fond memories, but also just being able to use it as three years to the day since we were playing that fixture. You know, just how far we've come in that space of time.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And you know, they did start fantastically. They played some lovely football, cut through Liverpool, knife through butter stuff and all that. I mean, you know, you had Sakho absolutely torn apart. I think there's another one where Chan's just sent for the echo, nowhere near it as a cross comes in. And I remember being on the cop that night and just thinking, it's not looking good, lads. Do you know what I mean? But what was mad was the turnaround, and the turnaround was absolutely amazing. And it's what you want. It's what we want as Scousers, it's what we want as Liverpool. And it's what Klopp wants. It's that thing he said, if you go all the way back to 2015, when he said about, you know, just sort of, we decide when games are over. And obviously it takes till the very last minute, the 91st minute, when Dejan Lovren's popping up with a great header from Milner's cross to win it for Liverpool. But there was a point in the game, I don't know if you remember this, Paul, where you could look at their players and they were in the box, basically going to each other. What? Do you know what I mean? And like, you know, we talk all the time about how influential is that atmosphere at Anfield when it's at its best. You could literally see it in front of your eyes that day, because their heads were gone.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's actually interesting to see the team that we were talking about there. Is when we spoke about Klopp making the best out of what he had, he very much did with that side. But the atmosphere on the night, I remember, was fantastic. And I think, don't get me wrong, I think it was good going into the game, and then they turned up and they were fantastic, as you say. And then you're talking about Marco Reus, Aubameyang, Mkhitaryan really running the show. And then I think it's when Coutinho scores that Liverpool start to believe a little bit again. And you know, we said Sakho then gets that header, doesn't he? And it's absolutely game on. But yeah, what a fixture. And then obviously what happens towards the end. Even here in the commentary in the clips we've just been watching back, the roof comes off Anfield. Absolutely
comes off. And it was one of them games as well where I think, you know, for a long time there was conversations about atmosphere that weren't great. You know, if you were on Liverpool forums, if you were on Liverpool Twitter, there were conversations all the time about why is the atmosphere wrong, why is the crowd the makeup that it is, what can we do to change it, is it because there's not enough locals, is it because there's not enough kids? And they were quite negative conversations about Anfield and about the atmosphere, and you have people saying it's romantic to talk about atmospheres at Anfield because it's gone now. And I think that night was a big pressing of the reset button where everyone walked out of it and went, wow, we can still do it. The cop doesn't have to be standing. It'd be nice if it was, by the way. But you know what I mean? It was a night where you went, we don't have to look back into history anymore. We can do it now because we've just done it there.
Do you know what? I think it was important for Liverpool tonight because we talk about the spying cop, the famous cop, and it's for me, it's too small, the Kop
Yeah.
now in modern terms. And you look at Dortmund's yellow wall, and I think it was that we almost had to remind ourselves that we are this famous single-tier
Yeah.
Kop, and obviously I think this is just before the new main stand as well, isn't it? So Anfield seemed small at the time when you start going to modern stadiums, and I think it was important that you were just being able to go, oh, this is Liverpool's voice. This is the famous Anfield atmosphere, and it's a Europa League game, not a Champions League game, but it did feel like a big tie. It's Klopp's first season. We're really pushing. Well, we're really progressing. We're moving on. You start to see the green shoots of a Liverpool side. You know, we get to 2 finals that year, and obviously disappointing in both of them, but we knew we were on sort of on the journey where we've come to now, and where we're challenging for leagues and Champions Leagues and things like that. But the atmosphere was spot on, and it was the start of an improved Anfield atmosphere, which has gone on since then, I would say.
Absolutely. We showed we could do it that night, and we've done it many, many times since. We'll do it many, many times again as well. Let us know what you think about that night as well. What are your memories of it? Whack them in the comments. We do read them, we do react to them. That's been another On This Day from me and Paul Senior. Up the Reds.